There it is. Okay.
Hi, Fred. Hello, Fred.
Hello, sir. How are you?
How are you, everybody?
Good, sir. Good.
I just have to wait till 4:30 to
Yep.
call the meeting to order.
Oh, I don't need these.
I have both applications ready to be shared if you need to see either of them, James. So
Mhm.
I've got them.
Monument will be vinyl, 'cause it's small.
It's now 4:30. I call the meeting to order. The first item on the agenda is the Bank of Cooperstown sign. As I understand it from the application, this is merely a change in the sign to indicate the new ownership of the bank. The sign is slightly different, but they'll be in the same place in the same size.
That is correct.
Has everybody had a chance to look at the application?
With one exception, right? Whatever it is on the door. I think they call it a door banner or something.
Oh,
Or
yes,
band.
a band, vinyl exterior mounted door band with the bank hours.
It's printed vinyl.
Is it, are we only supposed to have one sign? I mean, I'm just,
you're allowed to have signage for hours and things like that.
Oh,
That isn't part of the advertising. So
and I know that the ordinance doesn't say anything about the fact that I really liked the muted colors of the other one.
The new owners, Wayne Bank, are buying both Cooperstown, Oneida, as well as Geneva and Penyan. And they opted to go with the white background because of varying brick fascias. They felt that it was easier to read.
Yeah, understood.
Wasn't me.
Does anyone have any questions?
The stone one, I looked at this too. The
I'll
one
pull it up.
stone wall, is that changing?
No,
I didn't think so.
to the stud mounted letters on the brick wall. The only thing that's changing is the monument sign. That we're just going to give it a fresh coat of paint and then remove the two existing HDU board signs
Yeah,
and apply the new sign. And if you could look at that one photo, you just had it there, the close up to the corner, you can see where the signs are getting notched and damaged. The material we'll be using will allow it to, hopefully hold up much better with a metal frame and the raised letters. And
gotcha.
kind of did a little mock up here if you want to just take a look at this. That even though it's not the right logo, the colors are basically the same, and we'll use a dimensional letter, so it'll be non-illuminated, similar to what you have, but with raised letters and raised logo. Okay. The only difference is the HDU board, because it's sandblasted and hand painted, it doesn't wear as well. So we've found over the years to do it this way, it seems to be a much better sign, lasts longer, holds up better to the weed whacker.
Thank you.
You got it.
Are there any other questions, concerns about the signs? Fred, you're muted, so I don't know if you're speaking.
Well, I didn't hear your question because you're breaking up, so.
Okay. So, okay, does anybody want to make a motion concerning the application?
I move we accept the application.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. The motion is carried. The sign is approved.
We appreciate
Well,
it.
thank you very much.
We'll see you in August.
Take care.
Take care.
You
Bye-bye.
will. The second item on the agenda is 15 Hill Street, pre-application for a subdivision. Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm well. We haven't met. My name's Gene Berman.
Nice to meet
Oh,
you.
good.
Could we, Jane, could we bring the application up?
Yep, hold on one second. Just have to pick the right one. Can everybody see the application?
Yeah, if you could scroll up to
You
the,
want to read what it says or go right to the site plan?
well, I've read it. I don't know if anybody else needs to read it. This is
Yeah.
what I'd like to see.
I went up there this morning.
So did I, yeah.
It's a big piece of land.
Yeah,
But I was confused by the survey, which maybe I'm probably just not reading it correctly, but because it shows parcel number 2, which I assume was going to be the subdivision. And the
No,
application,
right now, it has not, there is no subdivision line in it. So
Okay,
that's why this was,
oh, okay, I misread
Yeah.
it. I thought parcel number 2 was to be the second lot cutoff. Okay, thank you.
no,
so if you look at, so there's the site right there. It is just that one thing, and they're hoping to split it somewhere between these two structures.
Oh, between the house and the garage
correct.
or the studio,
So, so
whatever that is.
looking at the screen, it would be a horizontal division?
The
Most
line-
likely somewhat.
Yeah, the line would probably not be completely straight. I would probably have the backyard of the existing house go, straight back so that it would be kind of a rectangular backyard for that property. And then
Yeah.
then the studio and what would be the new house on the lot would, be placed according to setbacks and whatever in that empty space.
Okay, would the shed remain there?
Yes. Oh, the shed might be moved.
Or the shed might be moved? Okay.
Or-
Jane, would that require an HPAR permit?
For right now, nothing's going to be changed.
No, but
So, yes, well, I mean, eventually she's hoping to put in a brand new house, so that'll definitely have to go through HBAR.
Okay. And so the division will be between the current house,
And the garage, right,
so the garage will be on,
On
the
the lot.
vacant lot for the
Vacant
time
lot.
being.
okay. Right, does anybody have any questions?
No,
Comments?
I mean, the size is certainly adequate.
I mean, because there's two existing structures and there's only one sewer and water line at some point, and probably as part of your conditions, you would, insist that new water and sewer run to the vacant property. and separate the garage from the house. I mean, that'll have to be done at some point. It can just be part of your conditions as far as the subdivision. I wouldn't necessarily want to make them do it at this point, because until the subdivision goes through, there's no reason to separate the water and sewer out. But all of that will have to be done at, once the subdivision goes through.
Yeah, and separate trenches as well. And so and that's just an FYI, it has no bearing on our decision here, but it's a very, very expensive proposition because you have to dig separate trenches for your sewer and your water. And so depending on how far you go, it can be a very, very expensive ordeal. Just some, words to the wise, that's all. Been through it, so.
That's good to know. I mean, I would imagine, I've been in contact with Simple Integrity about, possibly designing a house for me and so forth. And would they be able to do that? I mean, like that could be part of, building the house.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you actually, as soon as it gets subdivided, you will, well, I'm not sure. As long as you own both properties, I don't know if there's an issue with having the water and sewer going from, because right now the water and sewer, we believe through talking to Mitch, they run from the garage to the house and then out to the street.
I see.
At some point, that will have, the house and the garage will have to separate, and then you'll have to create new lines to the garage. But as long as you're owning both parcels, I don't believe there's an issue until the actual sale of the house.
Jane, may I ask if there is a new house
Yep.
built on the, we'll call it lot 2, where there isn't a house, just
Basically where the shed is, right there.
yeah. Could water sewer go from the garage to that house?
That has to be, I can't be the one that decides that. Everything
Okay.
goes through Mitch.
Yeah, okay. Just as a suggestion.
Right. That might be a possibility. I don't know if that's possible or not.
It's probably cheaper.
I just know that at some point, once the
Right,
sale goes through, and we had the same issue with the property up on Averill, where they had to dig the well because they didn't have village water up there, but they had to dig the well before everything
That was-
basically got done.
That was Margaret McGowan's property.
Correct.
Mhm.
I mean, they ended up doing an easement, I think, sharing the sewer, just because that's also the end of the sewer line. But that was a legal document that got created. But I think in this situation, because it's both water and sewer, it's probably, and there's lines that run all the way, around Hill and Beach, that it probably makes more sense to insist that once the two properties actually go between, have two separate owners, that everything's taken care of ahead of time.
Anybody else have questions? At this point, does anybody have an objection to this going forward?
I don't have an objection. I have an observation, though, that many of the lots up there seem to be large, right? Meaning, of a half acre or so as this lot is. So, and I realize that even as I say that and I look over to the lot right behind it, it's not nearly as large. But my point being, it's not a village sized lot area, right? Where the houses are, basically 20 feet apart. So it's just an observation that, that while the lot size may still be fine, and I'm not objecting to anything, that but that it's going to change the character of that neighborhood a little bit, and it'll be, of course, as always, very interesting to see what neighbors have to say about this. So.
I mean, it is, look, let me just verify it, but as far as I can remember, Okay, so it would be listed in the R2 district. The R2 district requirements are that I don't believe the square footage of the lot changes, the frontage changes size more than anything else. And like I said, this would have to, she'd have to be able to subdivide this up to meet the requirements. So in an R2 district, the requirements are minimum lot width of 50 feet, minimum lot area of 10,000 square feet. This property is, I believe, like 25,000, so there shouldn't be an issue with that. We have a front yard setback of 20 feet. Or wait, no, wait, I take that back. Front yard, it's 35 feet, or we actually threw in a little disclaimer that says that any principal structures within 200 feet on the same street, you can take the average of those. So at that point, I guess you could sit there and argue that the house that they're going to be subdividing from is a lot closer than 35 feet, and maybe even that this is closer than 35 feet. So then they would be able to do an average as opposed to the requirement of 35 feet. And then there's side yard setbacks of 10 for accessory structures, 20 for principal, and 20 for rear yard setbacks. So like I said, because this is at the stage it's at, I figured this was just a pre-application, and then I would sit down with Normandy and just say that the next time they come back, that the survey includes the actual subdivision showing all the setbacks required for the two parcels.
Makes sense.
Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me. Yeah, because we really can't go further than this until we know exactly what's planned.
Right.
Exactly.
Yes.
I didn't want to, pay a server to create a line for me if you guys didn't give me approval. Like, I was thinking of it as a pre-approval meeting. So
That makes perfect sense. Then
So I can kind of come up, work with Normandy before the next meeting and see if we can get something established that indicates all the requirements. And like I said, because these are pre-existing buildings, they would not necessarily have to fall within the setbacks, but we'd have to make sure that any new structures would meet those requirements.
Right. Then to move forward, we have to, as a board, make a determination under section 245-2 that the plans and data is submitted meet the objectives of the chapter, and stating a reason. The reason would be, under our comprehensive plan, we favor creating new housing stock.
Sounds good. Sounds,
Okay. So I'll make a motion that we adopt that determination.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. John, I can't see you on my screen. So I don't
Let
know.
me get rid of the share.
Yeah.
Now we can see it.
John,
Aye.
okay, then that's unanimous.
thank you. I'll
You're
see you
welcome.
guys next month then.
Okay, best of luck.
All right.
Take care.
Thank you, Jane.
Bye-bye.
No problem.
The next item on the agenda is possible updates to the subdivision law. This is the third one we're handling, and I think we're doing quite fine.
Actually, it's the fourth.
The fourth? Well,
It's the floor.
well, I lost a finger there someplace. I don't think we need to make any changes. As we've been going forward, we've been tacitly granting waivers of all the aspects of the statute that really don't apply to these types of subdivisions.
No, that's fine.
And
There can't be too many more parcels that can get subdivided anyway.
Yeah, right.
Fred, you're not going to build a house in front of the landmark, are you?
I might, buddy. I just might. If I can pull out of this that way, I just might.
you know, I thought you wanted to revise your special use permit to be able to do that.
All right, everybody back up. No, I'm just saying, I've been on the board for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, and or maybe 4 years anyway, and the 2 subdivision decisions that we've had have come, or the have come rather quickly, I should say. So I don't know, people are looking at their property differently, the village is looking at it differently, and everybody's sort of beginning to think perhaps differently in some places. But for 3 years before that, I don't think we had one. I don't remember one.
Yeah, I joined the board in 2014, and up until the recent 4, that we hadn't had many.
Yeah, so there we go. Yeah.
Okay,
But I take that as positive feedback based on, the long range plan of the village and people just looking at their property differently, right? And how do we achieve something? So, and the fact that, this board is rather amenable to that idea, given our guidance, that the word is, maybe getting out and people just, it'll create a little bit of a different perspective, I think. So I take it as a good thing, that the board is doing what it's supposed to be doing, actually. So.
I always like it when you and I agree, Fred.
Yeah, so we'll make special note of that, Gene.
Has everybody had a chance to take a look at the minutes?
Yes. Well, I have.
I have, yes.
Any suggested changes, comments? I have a motion to approve the minutes.
So
I
moved.
so move. I second then.
All in favor?
Aye,
Who made the motion?
I did.
Okay, thank you.
David?
I seconded it.
Yeah, but now I need you to vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous. That motion carries. Is there anything, is new business anybody would like to raise?
No, I'm glad that the village trustees are going to re-emphasize the need to wear masks. Because boy, as a 73-year-old diabetic with hypertension, I'd prefer that they do.
Just to let both you and Fred know that I'm actually sending out a letter to all the transient operators, including hotels and motels, with the kind of pointing out the requirements from New York State Health and stuff like that. So look for that in your email in the next day or so.
We have our only guests until we open, which might be in September, coming this weekend, but they're coming from New Jersey. From Pennsylvania. And I've already, I sent them a text of this is the deal.
Yeah.
I
tell you it's exhausting. We have gone from 0 to 60 from an occupancy standpoint. We're not making any money, right? Because you got to give your rooms away. But from 0 to 60 in an occupancy standpoint in a matter of 5 weeks, 6 weeks, that's a good thing. Obviously, it allows me to pay staff and stop the bleed of my liquidity I have left. So no complaints. But I would tell you it's exhausting. It's exhausting to be understaffed and being asked to police at the same time. And we are. And we get, we get a ton of cancellations. We get cancellations because of states being added. So today, 10 states were just added. Just a month ago, 10 states were just added, which I'm not arguing against. I'm not arguing against it. I am simply saying that as a transient hotel, trying to stay on top of that, trying to reach out to the guests that are now and going back into your bookings to find out who's coming from Georgia so that you can tell them, no, you can't come, right? Essentially, you're saying—
Or you can come and just live in your room for the time that you're there.
oh, no, they can't come until they mark in. We don't want them, right?
Okay.
So that's what I did. Yeah.
So, I mean, we have to protect our staff. We have to protect my wife. We have to protect, me to a degree. we gotta protect stuff. I know I'm not going to get a seconded on that thing, so that's why I just moved forward.
Yes, you will.
We will. So
I think we're just a little Airbnb.
we absolutely look forward to it. We look forward to the village taking more of a role in this thing.
Yeah.
We absolutely do. But I'm just telling you, from a business standpoint, it is freaking exhausting. Just so you know. And there's a limit to what an entrepreneur can do to police the people who are coming from who knows where and who knows when. And so I just add that to the mix. That's all.
Well, the mother of a friend of mine just died of COVID, and he said it's the most horrible death you could ever imagine.
Yeah, that's what we hear, right? And so it's not like I'm not in a risk group either, right? So, but I get it. And I think the county has done an amazing job so far. Maybe it's luck, maybe it's I don't know, God's providence, but we've done a hell of a job keeping the numbers down, even as the number of visitors has really ballooned. And everybody's making a last minute decision. So we get last minute reservations. But we had nothing for August 2 weeks ago, and now I have 140 room nights. And so just to give you a sense for the pace that's occurring, I booked nothing, not a dollar 6 weeks ago, and I'll book 30,000 in advance reservations this week. And so it's just this momentum beginning to build as people look out and say, I gotta do something. So, and we're not fighting it. We're managing it as best we can. I'll spare you all the business details, but the policing component of it itself, of making sure that people wear masks, of making sure that people aren't congregating, all of those things, it's just exhausting. And then to police where they're coming from, or police where they left to come back to the inn, right? I'm on all of those. Weddings, right? So the main wedding venues in town are still doing weddings. They're just smaller, right? So you still have this aggregation of people. So anyway, I got on my little diatribe there, but Jane, I support whatever you're doing, and just know that there's a limit to what a business can do. That's all.
No, I can't imagine the effort that it's involved in renting to people that you might not know where they're from till the day they show up.
And then might not know where they're really from.
True. And when I was reading the thing, it's not even that you're originally from a state. It's if you spent more than 24 hours in a state that's on the list.
Exactly. So anyway, 2 more months, and the season will be over. At least we think it's over. We'll see. Things will begin to slow down again. But I think October is going to be a boom month for this town. We just see the trend lines right now. You were talking about opening in September. So, and I think other hotels who or other, accommodations that have stepped back over the summer might be looking at the same thing. And so, the more availability, the more people, and off we go. And so, but October, I think, is going to be, a watershed moment for this business for my business, on whether we make it through to vaccine or not. So we have no choice but to stay open. We have no choice but to roll the dice. We have no financial choice, no fiscal choice. But we look at October as being sort of the pivot point on whether we're going to make it or not. So there you go. And I know we're not alone. I know we're not alone.
Right.
So the village is doing a great job in balancing business end of it versus the health end of it. And hopefully we'll continue to do that together. So.
Well, wish you luck.
We wish you the best, man.
Yeah.
Our little B&B had 56 cancellations. And that's just the people canceling. Then they had that, no, I'm sorry, you're from Florida. Please never leave. Florida. Oh, but yeah.
I'll move to adjourn the meeting.
I second that. You know, I'm a permanent second on that thing.
Yeah. All in favor?
Bye.
All right. Okay, it's unanimous. The meeting is adjourned at 4:59.
Be well, people.
Well, everyone,
Everybody be well.
see you next month. Bye-bye.
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 James,
Yeah,
send me a copy of 245-2 so I can, what it says.
what, I can't hear you, what?
Can you send me a copy of 245-2, what it says? That's the one that Dean said plan submitted meet the objective.
Oh,
You have that?
yeah, it's just requirements for the subdivision. Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, then I'll summarize it or put it in or something. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, I'll talk to you later.
Yep, take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, did I stop it?
Florida. Oh, but
What is happening?